Zach Blehart is a systems administrator for the Tamaqua Area School District. He helped the district move to virtual learning during the pandemic. Also, if you're a teacher and you forget your password, he's the man to see. Of course, he has other responsibilities and it's an important job, but I'm sure Blehart didn't spend his free time growing up resetting passwords for fun, just like I didn't spend my teens writing practice news stories about systems administrators. No, I was playing video games, lots and lots of video games, and it turns out, so was Blehart.
I mean, I grew up with Halo, and I thought that was really cool when Halo had its own league, but I was just like, oh, this is a novelty, this is just for the best in the world, this is never going to come to the lower high school or tier or college tier.
Well, now more and more games have leagues and more people are in those leagues. It's 2021 and esports is a thing, a very big thing.
What got me was the Overwatch League. When that started in 2017 and 2016, that was what really got me into it, and I was playing the game at the time. So it was kind of like a mesh between video games and like the football franchise system that we have, where you have teams that represent cities. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool if it came to high schools and you had video game teams representing your local schools, and then started doing the research and it started coming out that that's what California was doing, and I was like, well, that'd be really cool if we could do that here.
So Blehart went to the powers that be and pitched an esports team for the Tamaqua Area High School. Eventually someone stepped up and shoved a bunch of quarters into the esports program, just like an arcade game. If that wasn't clear, I'm saying they got a very generous donation to get started. So Blehart became the team's co-head coach, and he and others got started leveling up the school's old band room.
It was quite the renovation. We, as you could see on the pictures on our website, we ripped out all the wooden risers. The school was built in like 67 or in the 60s, so some of this wasn't wheelchair compliant. We had to put a full ramp in there to make it wheelchair compliant. Because this is definitely one of those sports where someone who who's in a wheelchair could participate and excel. My biggest hope is that we can somehow change the old theory of what video games are. Some people are like, oh, it's video games. Like, why are these kids wasting their time doing this? Well, like I said, it's full rides to colleges now. It's even just partial scholarship money. It's giving these kids an option now that colleges are considering it a varsity level sport. It's giving these kids an option to look at schools they might not have looked at when applying to colleges. And it's not just, the stereotypical kid sitting alone in his basement in the dark playing video games. These guys are here every day. Every day we have school for a mandatory practice, and they're putting the time in like they would a football team or a basketball team. They have the same friendships and team building exercises. Like they're spending time with each other, making new friends, learning how to cooperate with each other. Just things that you would learn if you were in a normal sport, traditional sport. They're learning that here, and a lot of our players, besides like the ones I mentioned that did play soccer, some of these kids aren't involved or interested in regular traditional sports at all. They could care less. But this is something they're interested in, and this gets them involved in their school and their community.
The Tamaqua Area eSports program is broken down into 3 teams playing 3 different games. Tamaqua has a Rocket League team. Rocket League is a mix of soccer and driving games. They also have an Overwatch team and a Valorant team. Both of those games are team-based shooters. Here's Dominic Stegmerton and Ryan Fisher, both seniors, on the Valorant team.
It's a 5v5 shooter. It's first person. It's a bit of a slower game compared to something like Call of Duty, where you just run and gun at each other. Most of the game, you're going to be thinking about what you're doing and thinking about the enemy's actions and trying to predict them. Very small amount of the time, you're actually in a gunfight or fighting the enemy.
I'm our in-game leader, so it's my job specifically to formulate our strategies and direct how people are moving about the game, the map. We have set plans when we go into a game, and when they start going wrong, or a team is kind of countering what we're doing, on the fly I have to formulate new ideas how we can change what we're doing.
Fisher spends a lot of time during weekends watching esports professionals and learning from them.
Do you think people realize, they'll watch this story, if you tell someone you do this, how much work actually went into this year?
Most people don't. They just think, oh, you just play video games, that's nothing. but it takes a lot of work. You have to put time aside. You have to dedicate yourself.
Do you think you got better at certain like reflexes, or what do you think is the benefit of doing all this?
I know my reaction time has gone down significantly. My focus has gone up.
So Fisher has a pretty fast reaction time, around 120 milliseconds. How's your reaction time? At this website, the average is around 273 milliseconds. As for mine, I'm practicing and I'm working on it right now, about 316 milliseconds. So I have to keep practicing. And while I do, here's Stig Merton pointing out another benefit of esports.
It'll definitely get you familiar with a computer and know your way around it, especially like troubleshooting a computer. If you don't know what happens when your computer like blue screens or crashes, you'll figure it out real fast. I'm going to L-Tri-C for now.
You know what you want to do? Or?
Yeah, I'm doing computer programming.
Tamaqua's Valorant team made the High School eSports League playoffs this year.
It's the High School eSports League, HSEL, and they're run by a company called Generation Esports, which is also partnered with the NJAS for the college level. So there's a lot of ability for college coaches and college teams that come down to and watch our games and see our games live on the internet.
Getting recognized by colleges is great, and so is getting recognized in your current school.
I don't think half of the school even knows we exist yet. Like, the first time they probably heard of us was when we were on the announcements for going to the playoffs.
So that's it for this story, but it's far from game over. The Tamaqua area esports team is only 2 years old, and they're putting the work in to get better and better as their sport keeps getting bigger and bigger.
How long do you think I would last if I was up against your team?
Not very long.
A few seconds?
Yeah.
That feels like that would be...
Oh, around a minute or so. So if you hit, you
305 milliseconds. Yeah, I wouldn't last that long against the Tamaqua area esports team. For SSPTV Sports, I'm Ken Kara.